I do wonder where that Suey loser is and why he hasn't made a video yet. Hey guys, it's Suey again, and sorry about that. I know, video is a little late. I got a little distracted last week. I was playing a bunch of Demon Souls, and yeah, I got still a little hefty bit distracted, but hey, it's a new week, and we're here with another God Eater 3 video, and of course, it's going to be a weapon type video. One of my favorite weapon types at that. And for today's video, we're going to be rocking some Radiant Tomboy energy, so let's go ahead and jump into this. For today's weapon type, the Boost Hammer, also known as the Vibe Check on a Stick. Boost Hammer specializes in a bunch of crushing damage, and by a bunch I mean pure crushing damage. That's legit the only damage it does. And by that, it's really good at breaking bonds in origami, which is pretty handy, I'd say. And you know, thanks to God Eater 3's burst art system, there are a bunch of fun ways to do so. Because who doesn't love the simple act of just bonking things? It's simple, straightforward, and effective, and there are plenty of ways to do so and plenty of playstyles behind Boost Hammer to support your need to bonk. So, before I jump into the burst arts, I want to make a quick note that today's video is going to be a little longer because I want to try something out. So normally in these videos I just talk about the burst arts and that's about it really. I want to try doing a bit more visual. I want to try showing you the move for each burst art I'm talking about, and yeah, of course that's going to make the video a little longer, but today is a little experimental. So do leave your feedback in the comments whether you prefer me to just talk about the burst art or show it off visually. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the burst arts of the Boost Hammer. Now for the ground burst arts, first up we have Earthshaker. Earthshaker is very straightforward. It just adds this little nice effect to your basic square attack, but also adds bonus damage to weak elements, which if you're using a Boost Hammer that has a heavy amount of damage, more geared towards elemental, you know, fire, ice, divine, lightning, that type of deal, you'll get a nice damage bonus. Although the weapon I'm using is not elemental, you get what I'm saying. It's a pretty basic change for your square. Doesn't change too much, just adds a nice effect and a nice little bonus. It's alright. We have Howling Soul, which is going to change your stage 3 attack for triangle, i.e. just spamming triangle, which the attack itself is rather slow and takes multiple hits to set up, but you know, I'll be honest with you, the damage is more than compensating. Get the charge and smack. Well worth it. So yeah, it does take multiple hits to set up, so you could argue it's a little slow, but the damage is more than worth the trade-off. Howling Soul is personally one of my favorite ground burst arts, purely because of the damage you can output, and you can pair it with certain aerial burst arts as well, because guess what? It can transition into an aerial attack. It's pretty great. Gale Rush, which is going to augment, well, improve, change, I don't know, some word for that, affect your boost rush, which normal boost rush is just your R1 square, and then you just keep continuously spamming square just to keep, you know, smacking things at a ferocious rate. However, Gale Rush is going to improve this attack, for example. You can just keep on spamming it at a origami's face as much as you like. Of course, you know, not really as much as you like. You do have to position and time yourself, because you can get smacked doing this, but hey, if it knock it down, you can just keep on doing this. If you just have a ferocious want to keep smacking things, then Gale Rush is going to be more towards your scope. We're going to go over Doom Hammer. I don't like Doom Hammer. I really, really don't. It's pretty underwhelming in my opinion. It's just that, and it's just that. Very underwhelming, so that's going to be a short one, although I'm sure there are people out there who love Doom Hammer. I personally don't like it at all. So that's Doom Hammer. Next up is Heat Drive for Boost Drive, which is the R1 square, and then triangle spam. It's a nice little dash forward. That's Boost Drive. However, Heat Drive is going to augment this to be better, which Heat Drive, although not the most effective thing ever, it does good damage. It's just the positioning's a little weird because it does dash you forward. But if you can master the positioning, you can do wonderful things, such as example here. We love Heat Drive. It's fun. Next is Grand Finale. It improves your boost impact, and Grand Finale is one of the more, I guess, optimal ones to use. Increases damage against downed foes, meaning if an Origami's knocked down, bonus damage, which of course if you're knocked down, feel free to spam any nice weak points they got. Test it out here. Now in case you didn't know, right, each hit that you get with Boost Rush, regardless of whether you're using the burst art or not, increases the damage you're going to land with your boost impact. For example, one hit, slam. Pretty fair damage, right? But if they're knocked down, you spam 6 hits, then do it, the damage gets increased. So it's nice to run it with Grand Finale, especially because not only do you get the bonus damage from spamming Boost Rush and then doing your boost impact, but also more damage against downed foes. So if they are knocked down in front of you, feel free to take the opportunity and just get that damage in. Grand Finale. Next we have Unstoppable, which is another boost impact burst start. Same deal, by the way, when it comes to Boost Rush. You can just either hit them once and then do it immediately, or you can hit them 3 or 6 times to get the extra damage in for your boost impact. Same deal applies here, of course. But Unstoppable is an okay burst start. It does pretty solid damage, however, it does pierce armor, so the armor piercing definitely is a bonus towards it. Let's go ahead and give it a run here. Of course, if you do it one time, keep in mind this damage pierces armor, so it's pretty good. Let's do these 6 times now. Even more damage. So, nice. Unstoppable is pretty nice. Personally for me though, I've noticed the range is a bit shorter than normal burst darts when it comes to boost impact, but that's just, I think that's my experience when I've tried using it. Pretty solid burst dart overall. Impact, which is another boost impact improver. Well, it changes your boost impact. Hitting with boost rush or boost and drive, so whether you use the boost rush spam or boost drive spam, you're going to build up stacks for this, which allows boost impact to be used, which increases the damage and does a little something special when you get a certain amount of stacks. Same deal here applies. 6 hits with those gets you more damage, but also the damage increases with this burst art as well, stacking damage together rather nicely. So the minimum to get the burst art to proc is 3 hits with boost rush and or boost drive. So let's go ahead and get 3. That's the damage with 3 hits. But for 6, however, you ready for a oh yeah, it's really, really nice. Although, yeah, you could argue, hey, maybe just use like Grand Finale or something since it's a little quicker. But come on, you can't tell me the damage isn't nice. Just think about it. You have an Origami there knocked down in front of you. Maybe they have a nice broken bond too. It's ready to get damaged, and you just go ahead and wail on it. You already know, as someone who's going to play Hammer, you want nothing more than just to bonk the forehead of anything that's in front of you. So, Erupting Impact is pretty nice. Damage is wonderful, but of course you have to keep in mind with Hammer in general, it's good when you have a good opportunity to hit them or they're knocked down. It applies to most of these boost impact burst darts. All of them pretty good, but if I had to rate them, Grand Finale, Erupting Impact, and Unstoppable. Or maybe just use either or, honestly. Because that's the thing about Boost Hammer. Most of its burst darts are good. Doom Hammer is a little for me, but the rest are just, they're pretty good. And as you can tell by the levels of each burst start, I've used hammer a lot. I really, really like hammer. It's a fun weapon. So yeah, that's going to be the ground burst starts for hammer. So next we have the aerial burst starts, and unlike the ground burst starts, aerial does not have a lot of choices. So first up is Stigmata. Chain together a combination of 4 midair strikes, and you rise a bit higher with each strike. It's especially nice if you're fighting airborne origami that you dislike, like False Idol and or Raw. Then you could just go ahead and just keep yourself in the air for 4 hits, continuously hitting, rising a little higher, making it possible to hit weak points while you're rising. It's a pretty alright burst start. What is arguably the best aerial burst start for hammer? Chaos Impact. Increased damage to weak points, but it's also, you know, fast. That's the thing about it. It's fast. Let me show you how. You have an airborne origami, you see it there. Well, you can just keep doing this. It's fast and simple to use. Also, you can keep yourself in the air with it. Let me show you how. Mid-air devours chained with this can keep you in the air and spamming. Although you can argue it's a bit simpler just to do that. Go down, jump up again. Whichever you prefer, really. That's just something that I like to do with the mid-air devours. It looks fancy, but you could just say that jumping and doing this is more optimal, which you're probably right, but it's however you want to use it. And the nice thing about Chaos Impact, right? You can angle yourself to hit ground origami while you're descending, like this. That's why Chaos Impact is so popular amongst hammer users. Because, well, it can be used for either aerial or ground origami. Either or work. This is one of those universally really good burst starts. So Chaos Impact most of the time is favored for the air burst start, especially with its increased damage to weak points. It's just something you can't go wrong with. Is Lost Memory. Lost Memory is a lot more simplistic. It's just a downward slam. But it also pierces armor, although this is balanced out by it having pretty alright damage. It doesn't do ridiculous damage, but it does solid damage. It's not as much DPS as Chaos Impact, though. But Lost Memory, let's hit up into it. Keep in mind it pierces armor, so if you don't really have many sources of armor piercing against an origami that has a lot of armored components, then you can just use Lost Memory. Very straightforward. Just jump, slam, jump, slam, jump, slam. And this pierces armor, by the way, so the damage is going through. Lost Memory can also be chained with Howling Soul, which you saw earlier. Howling Soul can chain into just about any aerial burst start. So you can pair that with it as well to make it a little better, but overall Lost Memory is fairly solid. Pierces armor, straightforward, solid damage. That's Lost Memory for you. Step burst starts, which for hammer they're alright. But I don't particularly like using these step attacks on hammer too much unless it's breakthrough. But here's Calamity Nova. Spinning attack, and which it's a continuous spin, so if you like the spin to win playstyle, you'll like this. It pierces armor and the damage stacks to a nice cap when you keep doing it. However, I don't like plenty of things about it. So firstly, step, wrong button, step, spin to win. Damage stacks up with consecutive hits, but my main problem with this burst start, right, is the recovery. Let me show you what I mean. That can get you hit, but let's see if you can maybe jump cancel. Let's see. Get your damage stacked. Nope, you cannot jump while recovering from it. So if you want to use it for the fact that, you just spin to win around and pierce armor, it's a pretty valid reason to use it. Damage is pretty decent, and it pierces armor, and, spin to win. However, I don't really like it all that much. It's not a bad burst start by any means, but I don't know, it's a little iffy for me. But yeah, that's Calamity Nova. Next up on the list is Breakthrough. It's the one that I prefer to use when using hammer in terms of my step burst start. mostly because it's super straightforward and does increase damage against downed foes, so it's a pretty nice damage bonus. So, in terms of it being super straightforward, it's just step, bonk. That's it. Step, triangle. Which does more damage against downed foes, so if you see an opportunity to whack a downed foe in the face, please do that. It also does pretty fair damage overall, which you can keep spamming that just to get some nice DPS in. But yeah, that's Breakthrough, and personally it's what I would like to run on Boost Hammer when I do run a step burst start. This is God Smasher. Absorbs the shock of attacks, gives you which meaning stagger resistance mid-animation of the attack. Pretty solid, and then increased damage against weak elements, which, you know, if you're using an elemental hammer, you're probably going to like this. It's never a straightforward one. Step and triangle. Step, triangle, step, triangle. Damage is pretty alright too. Of course, I'm not using an elemental weapon, so maybe I don't get the bonus, which maybe I don't. To me, it was alright. I didn't like it all that much. If I'm going to use a step burst start, I'm going to use Breakthrough. I'm going to be honest with you, but who knows? You might run a elemental hammer, and you pair that with it, and you might end up loving it. For me though, I prefer Breakthrough. That's going to be it for all the hammer burst starts and things I have to say about hammer. Which, gathered from all this, hammer, slow weapon, heavy weapon, but it's a hammer. You bonk things over the head, and that's how you get the win. But yeah, like I said, do leave your feedback in the comments whether you prefer the videos to be longer and more, I guess, descriptive, more in-depth, or whether you prefer just to be me simply talking about the burst start and whatnot, just to shorten it up. Do let me know what you think. So, thank you for everyone who stopped by, I do appreciate it, and of course, at the end of every video, there's going to be gameplay. So, without further ado, my name is Sui, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.
Vitals and God Arcs are green. Commence hunting Gashrot. Gotcha! Sorry, but I'm gonna kill you. This is a good spot. Origami is held. You're not getting off that easy. You like that? Round one. Burst is held. is almost gone. I gotcha.
Right. Let's head on home.
Don't forget to check for useful items.